And this evening we're focusing on a recent ruling by the Michigan Appeals Court. It has to do with a deadly crash several years ago in Washtenaw County. On December 30th of 2017, two police officers helped a man who had driven his car off the roadway and ended up in a culvert. They called a tow truck and helped the man get back on the road in Pittsfield Township. But about an hour later, that man then crashed head-on with another car, killing a wife and mother named Lake Jacobson. Following the crash, police learned the man's blood alcohol content was 3 times the legal limit. The family of Lake Jacobson sued the officers, claiming they were negligent in performing their duties by allowing a drunk driver to get back on the road after he crashed the first time. But the Michigan Court of Appeals recently dismissed the lawsuit against the officers. Local attorney Bryan Waldman explains why.
Yeah, I think it's important here, Siobhan, to understand the Court of Appeals is bound to follow precedent or rules established by the Michigan Supreme Court. And the Michigan Supreme Court has recognized a doctrine that a lot of states have called the Public Duty Doctrine, which essentially means that police owe a duty to the public in general to do their job, but not to any one specific individual. And as a result, that individual can't sue if they're harmed unless they have what the courts have called a special relationship with the police officer.
Why do we have a public duty doctrine?
You know, Siobhan, there are a lot of laws that are made and they try and accomplish a goal, and then it leads to unjust results. And I think that has happened with a public duty doctrine, but there is a basis for it or a reason for it. And the reason is that we don't want to have everyone who's the victim of a crime potentially filing a lawsuit and saying, hey, police, if you would do a better job at fighting crime, I wouldn't have been stabbed, I wouldn't have been assaulted, I wouldn't have been the victim of this crime, and therefore you're partly responsible for the harm that's been done to me because you're not doing your job. And the Supreme Court here is trying to balance interests. They want to prevent a situation like I just explained, but at the same time they say we do want just results if the police really didn't do something that led to a specific person being harmed, and that's why they've created this special relationship test.
So wasn't there a special relationship in this case, though? They were face to face with this drunk driver and allowed him to get back on the road.
Yeah, and that's one of the claims made by the lawyers for the family in this case. But what the courts said is you're missing the point. The special relationship here needs to be with the victim of the crime, not the person who committed the crime. And here, you know, the police actually, I mean, they went further. They not only, you know, didn't stop this person from getting back on the road or allowed him to get back on the road, they helped them get back on the road. So there's little doubt that this, you know, I think most people would think this is an unjust result. But remember, this is the Court of Appeals. So the Supreme Court can review now what the Court of Appeals done and may ask questions like, should we have this public duty doctrine? And if so, do we have to modify the test of when it's going to be applied so that we can have more just results?